As you may have heard, Melvin Gordon is returning to Denver, but what's it mean? Everyone is freaking out, but your man Smitty. There were some people that agreed with me, but there was an overwhelming amount of people that just thought the world is ending for Javonte Williams. He's now a running back 2, a low end, a risky running back 2. Some people saying he's probably still a top 20 player. A top 20 player. Mostly we saw crying emojis. Why me? Somebody hold me. Smitty, how dare you? Smitty, you promised that Melvin wouldn't return, which I didn't promise. I tried to prepare people. I said if Melvin comes back, it's not going to be a big deal. You know what people responded with?
Go Javonte.
I said over and over, if he comes back, if Melvin Gordon comes back, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal.
Go Javonte.
Then Melvin comes back. Look, I'm not worried you should be buying Javonte Williams, especially in Dynasty, but go after him in redraft. I'm going to tell you why the value's baked in. I'm going to tell you why this might be the best news you've heard all offseason long. The Fantasy Football Show.
It begins right now.
This is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty.
Okay, so, man, I went live a little while ago. I figured I had to come back and make a post-production video to explain myself. And I've got to admit, I'm real shocked at the reactions we got when I went live talking about this. I was expecting a handful of people to be mad, to be upset, to be like, Javonte, oh my God, what are we going to do? Smitty, do you still like him? I expected all that. I did not expect to walk into a whirlwind of people freaking out saying Javonte's done. Javonte's not even a running back 1 anymore. One guy, bless his heart, said Fournette over Javonte in 2022. Let's break this down as logically as we can and then go backward from there. In February, Melvin Gordon is not leaving. Everyone loves Javonte. There's a strong chance Melvin Gordon, we feel, is never going to leave, and everyone still loves Javonte, especially in our community, at the tune of a top 5 to 10 overall player. In March, Melvin Gordon hits free agency, but very strong possibility he comes back. If he can't find the right home, he will be back. Fully expected to be a strong possibility, but the hope is, okay, Melvin Gordon's gonna go. April hits. April, no news. No news is good news. In fact, we heard that maybe he might sign with the Ravens, but no news felt like he's not coming back. People started accepting the idea that Javonte would have the backfield to himself and that the team won't even draft a backup running back, or that it's Boone. But apparently this set people up for a potential hard fall if Melvin was to return. Today, with Melvin Gordon returning, Javonte is valued so much lower than he was valued up in February. He didn't even have Russell Wilson. Things weren't the same. His situation was essentially garbage compared to what it is now. No Russell Wilson and Melvin still on the team. Everyone had him in the top 10. Everyone in this community was top 10, top 12. I'd hint to top 4 or 5. People would be like, that's a little high, but I kind of like him. Everyone here. Everyone. And I'm not trying to knock anybody watching. I'm trying to remind you. I'm here to remind you. I'm not trying to be hard on anybody. My job is to be your coach. My job is to help you win championships. I'm not here to talk you into something you don't want to do. I'm not here to twist your arm or to try and mislead you or pull you away from a very gut instinct you might have. But I am here to remind you, with no sign of Russell Wilson coming to the situation, coming to the aid of this team that needs a quarterback, Melvin Gordon still on roster. Everyone loved Javonte. Now Russell Wilson's on the roster. The ball is going to be moved into the red zone. The team will live in the red zone. Scoring opportunities will be plentiful. First downs will be flowing like wine. Opportunities galore. Yards per carry up. Efficiency up. Russell Wilson throwing the football to both running backs. Who cares if Melvin Gordon gets 30% of the work? You don't want Javonte getting 95% of the work, even 80% of the work. You don't want him breaking down. This guy led the league in broken tackles at halftime. He was getting the football half the time. He beat JT in broken tackles. This guy gets Russell Wilson and has the same situation in February running back wise in the running back room. And he's now a risky running back 2. Let's put it this way. If you're drafting in round 1 and you no longer are grabbing Javonte there, you're grabbing Javonte, let's say in almost the middle of round 2. So this is Javonte Williams territory. Now you have this pick where you can take Jamar Chase. You are walking out with Jamar Chase and Javonte Williams, who now has packaged in, baked in risk of sharing carries to the tune of a top 12 to 15 overall player, even if getting 60% of the work. In a worst case scenario, if the doubter out there is correct and I am wrong, you're paying what you're probably going to get. If I'm wrong, you get your value back. It's 100% baked into the equation.
Baked in, boys!
But if I'm right, you win your league because you have yourself in Javonte Williams a top 2 to 5 running back. This is great news. Javonte Williams getting Melvin Gordon as his backup. Again, a 29-year-old guy that's averaged a pedestrian 4.2 yards per carry. Really, he's a 3.9 yard per carry guy. It wasn't until last year that he was given this better yards per carry volume because the team runs the ball well. Everything Melvin Gordon did, Javonte did better. The team rested Javonte by design because why put mileage on the tires when you don't need to? The Denver Broncos weren't winning football games in 2021. It was a nothing burger season. Why rack up the mileage on the brand new vehicle when you had nothing to play for? And he still led the entire league, including JT and Derrick Henry and everybody else, in broken tackles. Number 1 in the NFL, getting part-time work, number 1 in broken tackles. Russell Wilson, you don't think he wants to use one of the most elusive running backs in the NFL? This guy, Javonte Williams, could be 1 or 2 overall in fantasy football running back scoring in 2022. Melvin Gordon's 29. Melvin Gordon has an injury history. Melvin Gordon was fed a ton of work last year. Melvin Gordon is a usual 3.9 yards per carry guy who happened to average a lot more last year because the offense runs the football well, but he's a 3.9 yard per carry running back. Traditionally, he's needed tons and tons and tons of volume in order to produce. I'm not saying he didn't look good last year or play well. Again, the offense ran the ball well. But if you think that the team, the Denver Broncos, is going to look at the elite talent differently than a team like the Colts looking at JT and saying, do we keep giving Nyheim Hines the ball or do we eventually let this guy JT eat? And I don't want to hear Smitty, they're two different things, Melvin Gordon. I've heard it all in the chat. I'm not comparing Hines' skill set exactly to Melvin Gordon's, but Nyheim Hines held people back last year. However, he took the volume away differently than Melvin Gordon. I'm not comparing the two running backs, but Nyheim Hines put people in a position of fear and let JT fall to like about 9, 10, 11, 12 last year in fantasy football ADP. The same place Javonte's probably going. In fact, Javonte's probably going in round 2. I first thought that this news might bump him down to 11, 10, 12, but now looking at it after hearing and absorbing everybody's reaction, he was kind of already at 8, 9, 10 for a lot of people. This news is going to kick him down into 15 and beyond. You can win a league with Javonte Williams at 15. This is almost in a way similar to the Dalvin Cook fear back in 2018, was it? You know, the intro video we had in every video from like 2019 to 2020. Top 5 running back.
Top 5 running back.
Dalvin Cook was a top 5 running back, and the fear of injury coming out of the ACL tear and then having the bad season where he tore or injured his hamstring because of the ACL recovery. People worried about drafting him as a top 5 running back. He fell ADP wise to like 18 to 24. And your boy Smitty said in every video, intro video,
Top 5 running back.
because people didn't adjust. They said top 5, he's risky. Top 8, he's risky. Top 10, he's risky. Top 15. Then when he got to 18 to 24, people kept saying the same thing as if he's still ranked at 5. I can't trust him. You know, he's not a really trustworthy top 5 running back, Smitty. Did you notice he's actually going at pick number 18 right now? Where's the line in the sand to where Dalvin Cook flipped into a massive steal? 15, 16, 17, 18. He had top 5 running back potential, but he was going because of risk in 18, 19, 20 overall pick territory. Javonte Williams is on the same path that Cook was on that one year, on a collision course with amazing value. Win a league value. Javonte Williams, 15, 16, 17, you are literally in a position where if I'm wrong, you get your value back and probably a little more. And if I'm right, you win your league because you've got the Dalvin Cook of this season, the year Dalvin Cook broke out and became a top 5 running back again. The Broncos want to use him. I don't care if he gets 70% of the work. That's fine. I don't care if he gets 68.9% of the work. The volume's going to be plentiful. Javonte's going to explode. He's going to average like 5 yards a carry, get double-digit touchdowns, score somewhere between 12 and 15 total scores, probably pull in 60 to 70 balls, give him 62, and Russell Wilson's going to feed him. He's a playmaker. The team's going to want a playmaker on the field. He's a tackle-breaking machine. Do you think that Hackett and this coaching staff won't want to put a player on the field that just broke off a 40-yard run? Are they so close-minded that they're going to say, well, he did well last year, we're going to continue to use him this year? And Melvin Gordon might be a suitable cuff that you can grab later and make sure you cuff the situation up. I love this. I'm telling you, I absolutely love this news. What it does for Javonte Williams' cost of entry is it lowers it to a point where it's so unbelievably acceptable. And the value and the upside that I felt before this news broke is the same. He's still top 1 to 5 for all running backs in 2022. If Melvin Gordon gets hurt, and I don't want to hear,
well, you got lucky, Smitty.
Melvin Gordon got hurt. That's part of my prediction. That's part of what I'm saying. Melvin Gordon, 29 years old, pedestrian 3.9 yard per carry type of running back, 4.2 career yards per carry because of last season, because of the Denver Broncos situation and the holes that were made for both these running backs. Melvin Gordon staying healthy is a tall order. Let's say worst case scenario, and this is my mind of worst case scenario, Melvin Gordon's a pest for 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 weeks. And I know we played this game last year, but we're not going to play the same game of waiting an entire season because the Broncos are going to win games. The reason we entered a territory where that game of waiting on Javonte continued through the entire year is because the Broncos were losing. Broncos aren't going to hold back using a weapon when they're on a playoff hunt. Oh, we'll save them for another year. No, if they're on the hunt for the playoffs, they're putting their best talent on the field. When Javonte's breaking more tackles than anybody in the NFL and probably leading the NFL in 20 and 40 plus yard runs, what do you think the coaching staff's going to think when they're like, let's put our playmaker on the field or let's keep sharing it up? Do what you want. I'm here to advise you and tell you what I think. And Javonte Williams is a top 1 to 5 running back in 2022. Use this to your advantage. Grab him in the second round every chance you get. My initial reaction and feel was that he could fall to 11, 12. I was wrong. My initial reaction right out of the gate from this Melvin Gordon news a little earlier, a couple hours ago, was that 11, 12, 13 might be where his ADP settles. I was wrong. It sounds like it's going to be 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, anywhere in the mid to late second round based on the poking around I'm doing, the temperature taking that I'm doing, and I couldn't be more excited, and I actually love this news. It's better than drafting a young, fresh rookie with fresh legs like James Cook or Zamir White or Rashad White. Melvin Gordon, this man is not a threat. This man is your savior because he's allowing you now to grab a Jamar Chase or a Justin Jefferson, or maybe you even get JT and you still get Javonte. The two-headed monster you can now pull off without even making a single trade. To walk out with Javonte Williams as your running back 1 and Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson or Cooper Kupp if it's redraft as your number 1 overall pick, to come away with Javonte Williams as your running back 1 and still have that kind of wide receiver, a top 3 wide receiver, win.
This is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty.